Hello, my Bill 5000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone's having a good day. If not, hoping it's better from here. We are back with another Watcher Wednesday. This one's titled, Are You Scared of the Cave? I mean, it depends on the cave. All right, I'm excited to get into today's story. If you guys are excited as I am, please go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cup of something special. Let's get spooky.
This video contains content that some might find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Thanks to Hunt a Killer for sponsoring today's episode of Are You Scared? Spooky season is my favorite time of year, and I like to do as many creepy activities as possible because I'm a spooky guy.
I love the spooky season. It's coming up. Oh, it's just a few months away. Scary movie month. Oh, I love it. Hey, if you guys don't, you should. All October, nothing but scary movies. And actually, if you guys have like suggestions for scary movies, I'm always willing to make my list bigger. Leave them in the comments down below.
That doesn't always have to be watching scary movies or going to scary events. Sometimes the scary event can be brought to your own home, and that's the case with Hunt a Killer. Hunt a Killer is an immersive game that brings people together with engaging storytelling. Check out their monthly murder mystery experiences and help solve a murder, something I don't know anything about. Each case is investigated over the course of 6 episodes, or boxes, that are sent to you once per month. Filled with letters, documents, clues, and physical evidence, you complete the objective of each box until you eventually crack the case and catch the killer. Congratulations! The Watcher team got together to play the all-new season of Hunt a Killer, starting with the first episode on Mallory Rock.
That's a lot of work.
Suspicious murder in a small
I'll stick with
New
Clue,
England
bro.
island community. Can't stand
That's
the
my
suspense?
style.
Premium boxes are an entire themed mystery all contained within one box. Go to huntakiller.com/watcher and use code WATCHER for $10 off your purchase. And now, back to Are You Scared?
It was me the whole time.
Humans have long had a relationship of fear and fascination with the dark. The terror of what hides inside it, or the prospect of what can be discovered within it, always hanging in the balance. But for our narrator, he'll find that it's all too easy to get lost inside it. And even worse, what's waiting for him once he's done so. I'm Ryan Bergara, and this is
Hello, Ryan
Are You Scared?
Bergara.
A show where I tell my friend Shane Madej the internet's scariest stories. So lock your doors, turn off the lights, and let's see if we can make it till the end of the night. Ted the Caver.
Ted the Caver. Okay. Poor Ted.
The following was taken from a blog post
Already, poor
hosted by
Ted.
angelfire.com from a man who called himself Ted. The post has not been modified in any way. It has been 3 weeks since our last visit to the cave. I want to update everyone about my condition, my plans for the cave, and the events that transpired during the past few weeks. I apologize for not returning your phone calls. I've been getting all of your messages, but I just haven't felt up to calling people back.
I'm already intrigued by this guy.
Why? Because he doesn't call people back?
Well, I mean, I respect that, but
know
also,
you do.
I've never had a friend email me and say, I have an update about my plans for the cave.
That's true.
That sounds cool.
That's if you put
That
that
is
as the
some
subject in the
bullshit,
email,
My plans for the cave.
I'm hooked, baby. I'm calling you every day. I
BFFs.
figure if I can get this site updated, I can let everyone know at once about how I am doing. A lot has happened in the last 3 weeks, so I'll do my best to cover everything.
Uh-oh.
I guess I should start where the last entry left off. It took several days to get the last journal entry written down. I was so shaken up from the experience that I could do little else but sit around and ponder what had happened.
What happened?
Right now, I am on long-term medical leave from
Why?
work. I've even been to the doctor, but because
Why?
I couldn't tell him about the experience, I just told him I was under a lot of stress. He recommended rest and even gave me a prescription to help me relax. Good drugs.
Sounds like a good situation. Free drugs, don't gotta work.
Yeah.
Would you ever venture into a cave on your lonesome?
No.
Yes.
No?
I'm always going with a cave pal. A cave crew, if you will.
Sure. You're spelunking buds.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like is when there's rope.
I love going into caves. I do better by myself than I do with people because if there's people there, I'm not paying attention. If I'm by myself, I don't know if it's the ADD, ADHD shit, but I can remember where the fuck I'm going like a son of a bitch. If I'm by myself, you put one person with me, I'm okay. If there's a couple people with me, because I'm like everywhere but where I'm supposed to be, it's awful.
Where you gotta like climb up and down stuff.
Isn't that what spelunking is?
I think it is. I think you can go caving without going spelunking.
Yeah.
I like a cave that's sort of like a mall, you know, nice and flat.
Escalators.
You can look around. Or the one at Knott's Berry Farm.
I don't think you've ever been in a cave.
I have. Eagle Cave in Illinois. Or maybe it's down by
Eagle Cave,
Eagle
Illinois.
Cave. Yeah, look it up, you son of a bitch.
Doesn't even exist.
It does.
It doesn't.
It's a beautiful cave. I'll tell you what.
There's one in Wisconsin.
Oh, it was in Wisconsin.
When we left the cave, I was nearly in a state of shock. I could not think clearly and was having a difficult time trying to process what had happened. B and I parted ways after the trip. I didn't try to reach him, and he didn't attempt to get a hold of me. Neither of us
What the
even
fuck
tried
happened
to
in this cave,
contact
bro?
Joe. B dropped me off after the trip.
Did you guys have to like do things to stay warm that you wouldn't normally do? Is that why? It's so weird. Look, there's nothing wrong with having to, you know, get naked and rub against your buddy to keep warm.
And I spent the next several days by myself in my house. I couldn't find anything to do to take my mind off the experience, which is when I determined that I should write it down. I guess it was kind of therapeutic, but unfortunately, it didn't last. As a matter of fact, it was soon after that when things got really bad.
Oh shit.
I let my answering machine take any incoming calls and remained in a depressed state until a week after the trip.
That's
Then
awful.
things started to get strange.
Oh shit.
At first, I was hearing sounds in the house that had no explanation. Footsteps, shuffling noises, creaking doors. You know, the typical horror movie fare. Only the
weird ass
sounds were not
bullshit.
distinct. I never felt fully certain whether I heard what I thought I heard. I would
Oh,
be
you heard
eating
it.
dinner.
You
or
know
getting
you
out
heard
of the
it.
shower and suddenly stop in my tracks, thinking I heard something. But the sound would never repeat itself. Either way, I was scared.
This guy's getting in his head.
Are you scared? I was scared.
This guy's psyching himself out.
This sounds like me on any overnight stay at a haunted house.
That's true. Yeah, you get you sort of get the jimmies.
I get the willies for sure.
Yeah, you go, shut up, you always say. He yells at me.
Well, sometimes I need to capture the evidence without you going waka 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 waka.
You
It's just
invite
like,
me.
ah,
You
do
always
you
invite me."
ever shut up?
There's a few times where you've gotten legitimately angry.
I don't know if I got nasty.
You've gotten nasty.
I just want to catch the evidence.
He's gotten nasty.
And you're there polluting it with that dirty hole of yours.
Dirty hole.
That dirty face hole.
Do you speak of my mouth?
It was as though I had been caught in a spider web for the
speak of my
entirety of the
mouth?
past week. Paralyzing
Dirty face
feelings
hole.
of foreboding completely filled my life. Then came the hallucinations. I began seeing things in a manner similar to the sounds I was hearing. Just fleeting glimpses of something in the corner of my eye.
Did you guys
When I
eat some
would turn
funky
to
shrooms
look.
I used down in that cave?
Nothing. I had been sleeping with the lights on in my room, but now I made sure to keep all the lights in the house on from before dusk all the way to after
Why?
dawn. Once again, I paid the doctor a visit, but omitted any details of what was happening in my life. I simply told him that I was unable to relax, and I walked out of there with a prescription in hand. Fortunately, by then, my wounds and injuries had pretty much healed. When I was on the medication,
Your wounds
I felt
and injury.
great,
What the fuck
but I
happened
didn't
in this
want
cave?
to walk around high the rest of my life. That makes one of us.
Disagree. In this economy?
Check the box for no for me. So I would only take it at the end of a tough day. Unfortunately, I kept seeing things, which drove me to regularly take the pills.
Yeah.
Continued to see the flashes in the corner of my eye.
Flashes
Then I
of
began
what?
to see shapes and shadows. I would see them outside my windows, usually at night. I couldn't make out anything, and it was hard to pin down exactly what I was seeing. I began to close all of the blinds and drapes in my home so I could eliminate any possibility of seeing anything. My life was in shambles, and my daily
why?
routine felt mechanical and empty. I would sleep in as long as I could and still wake up exhausted. I would then clean myself up and try to eat something, especially since I had lost a significant amount of weight. I refrained from leaving the house and spent giant chunks of my days on the internet, where I began obsessively researching caves and cave myths.
Sounds a lot like 2020.
Yeah, that's true.
Where's time going? What's happening?
Oh shit.
However,
You got a point.
the only story I could manage to find was the caver folklore about the Hodag, a creature
Hodag.
that supposedly roams in caves.
But see, if I saw that in a cave, I would not be scared by that. That looks very funny.
No, and Hodag's not really a name that strikes fear in my heart. That sounds like you ever see like a guy that just makes up like a funny nickname. Like you like maybe as a barbecuing. Oh, can you get me that Hodag over there?
2 weeks after we had entered the cave, I began
Or a
to
sandwich
have
you'd get from
nightmares.
Denny's.
Extremely lucid nightmares. No specific themes, but the same
Look, I'm not kidding. I've had a Dagwood sandwich from Denny's. A whole dag would probably be something that you'd find at Denny's. Don't look at me like that.
feeling
I like
of
Denny's.
terror. Sometimes I was in my house and an intruder was trying to get me, and I couldn't run because I had no legs. Other times,
Why?
I was in a vat and someone was filling it with syrup-like liquid. Every time I would
that's
wake
not too
up, I
bad.
would panic, then proceed to stay awake until exhaustion
That
forced
sounds
me
kinda
to
fun.
enter dreamland once again. It was a brutal routine that continued for several days until yesterday, when it reached its climax. One evening, I was walking from the living room to my bedroom when I looked down the hall and saw a dark figure at the end of it. Thinking it was a thief that had broken in, I began to back up slowly. It didn't move an inch. As I backed up, the lights began flickering off and on. Every muscle in my body was
Did you get beat up by a
completely
ghost,
tense.
bro?
The moment I stopped to look at the figure again,
Was this cave a part of a ghost fight club? And one of the rules is you can't talk about ghost fight club? Did you get beat down by a ghosty? If you did, it's fine. But we've all been there. We've all been there. You just gotta, tell someone. There's groups.
the phone started to ring. It startled me so badly that I stumbled over a chair behind me and fell.
I imagine this is what people think happens to me at my house every night. That I'm just walking around, tense as shit. A phone rings and I'm toppling over chairs, and Mari's just like,
Chill, dude.
this is why we can't have nice furniture.
I gotta say, for a story about a guy who calls himself a caver, he sure spends a lot of time putzing around his fucking house. What's
Yeah.
going on here?
Right.
Let's get his ass into a cave.
When I got up, I whipped around
Right.
to look back at the end of the hall, but the figure had vanished. I grabbed my keys and fled the house.
Uh-oh.
Might be going to the cave now.
He better be going to the cave.
I felt compelled to get in the car and drive away. My pulse pounded in my temples as I got in the car and started the engine. I had the sudden, overwhelming urge to drive to Overlook Point to see the city lights.
What?
Again, the opposite of a cave.
Wait, what?
I want to be high up and look at a wide expanse.
Right.
No! Get in the fucking cave, Teddy!
I had no idea
Right.
why I needed to go there, but I knew that I simply had to go. The closer I got to the destination, the more urgent the feeling
What the
grew.
fuck is this all about,
When I
bro?
arrived at Overlook Point, I was met with something that startled me at first, but a feeling of relief soon followed. Joe was there. He was standing next to his car, looking at the lights. Our eyes met. Where is this going?
I don't know.
I kinda
They've all
like-
been lured here by some entity.
Well, it was starting to get romantic.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, maybe they'll kiss.
He's like, I'm going to the lookout point. I knew I needed to be there. Wait, Joe's here?
That's why he couldn't walk right. We was thinking of the wrong cave. We was thinking of like an actual cave. That's not the cave he was going in. He went spelunking in a whole other cave.
Our eyes met.
What if in the story it was like, Joe was there, looking like a total 10.
Yeah, he was looking like a whole goddamn snack. And I could see from the exhaustion on his face that he had been going through the same miserable trial as I had been. Our conversation was strangely brief. You've been back? He asked, even though he knew the answer. Yes, I said. We need to return. Is tomorrow good? I asked. Yeah. Noon. He got in his car and I got into mine. I had no desire to talk to him about his experience, and he obviously didn't want to know mine. I drove over to B's house. When he answered the door, I noticed that B looked like he was doing fine. He even looked somewhat happy. However, he took one look at me and his disposition dramatically changed. This conversation was similarly short-lived. I ran into Joe and we're going back to the cave tomorrow at noon. B gravely nodded his head. I asked him if I could spend the night at his house, and he gladly let me in. I didn't realize it until later, but every light in his house had been turned on. He led me to his spare room. Help yourself. Thanks, I said. I washed up in the bathroom, took some medication, and got my first decent sleep in a long time.
What the fuck is going
I
on?
woke early in the morning and came home to get ready for the trip. You know, just a sleepover with all the lights on in the house with you and your bros.
Normal. Yeah.
That's how all my sleepovers
Fine.
were.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
go to your friend's house and he's like, let me show you my cave videos. I'd be like, oh, thought we were going to play Skip-Bo or something.
Yeah, I thought we were going to play Super Mario Golf
What,
or something.
what
dude.
are we doing here?
I don't want to see your creepy slideshow that's all, by the way, pitch black because you didn't use a flash. You
Just
dipshit.
imagine Ted sitting next to you, just moving through the slides, not even looking at them.
Just see your
Look
reaction.
at this one.
Yeah, they're all the same thing, dude. It's a selfie with a flash on. I always see your stupid face.
Do you think it's scary? Have I told you about the Hodag? You know, awful.
I thought I would send out this
Hodag.
update so no one will wonder what's going on with me. I suspect that by the time most of you read this, I will be back home and will have a great story to tell. I promise that if you haven't heard from me by now, you will very shortly. It is now 10 a.m. on Saturday the 19th. We will be leaving for the cave in 2 hours. The process of preparing for this trip will be like no other trip I've been on. For the first time in my life, I will carry a gun into a cave. I will also carry a knife, an extensive first aid kit, plenty of food and water, and a camera. I will bring several sources of light and a pad of paper and pencil. I will have to take all of my climbing rope since B lost his in the cave the last time we were there.
Idiot.
Fucking loser.
You call yourself a caver, you're going to lose all your rope?
Cut some loose.
Yeah.
Take the loose ends back home.
That stuff's expensive.
It seems like careless rope management by
Yeah.
B. Not everyone could be a caver,
Right.
you know what I mean?
That's true.
I will carry a good length of rope with me for the other side of Floyd's tomb. This is the first time in 3 weeks that I even thought about Floyd's tomb. It sent shivers up my spine just typing the name. There are so many answers I hope to find in a tiny passage hidden from view. Reflecting on the events leading up to today leaves me feeling dizzy. Was this all a bad dream? Unfortunately, I'm well aware that I'm wide awake, and that in a few short hours,
I don't
I might be
understand.
facing my worst nightmare.
What?
Is it sad to say? I kind of want to see him go in this cave and see what the fuss is about. And I realize that means he's probably going to die. But
That's
I do
fine.
wanna
I'm
see
fine
what
with
He's
all
him
a
the-
dying.
character in a story, so I feel okay saying this. I want him to die.
I'm fine
get
with it.
on
I
with
just
it.
want to know
Yeah,
what the
If-
fuck's
you know, if
going
he were a
on,
real
bro.
person, I wouldn't be rooting for him to die, but
Yeah.
He's real.
Death, 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 death. I'm rooting because I want to know what the fuck's going on. It is driving me insane.
Mope.
The thought of having another person with me in the passage does nothing to alleviate the fear I feel. Who will lead our way into the dark unknown? Who will decide when to turn back?
Me.
And the foremost question in my mind, what happened to the video camera that I left behind? It is supposed to be able to record in complete darkness, and I left it running this whole time. What would we find on that tape? Or what if the camera is gone? What if it was destroyed while we were gone? Although it is difficult to give my main motivator a name, I think closure fits quite nicely. The main thing I long for is to find the end of the cave. With all of the unsettling things that I have experienced during the past few weeks, it seems bizarre to even want to reach the end of the cave, but it is what I desire most. However, if I end up reaching the end of the passage, I will be content to never return. Never. I've never heard someone talk about a cave so much and not get in the cave.
Yeah, if I were B, I'd be annoyed with these two. Because B sounds like he was just chilling.
Yeah.
And then they showed up at his door and they were like, we have to go back to the cave. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, with the cave again already.
Right.
Fine. We'll go back to the cave. And then
I
you
still
drive
don't
into the cave
understand
and the
why
whole time the
this.
guy's like,
Why?
I think I will call this closure.
I think
Be
you
like,
should.
yeah, could we stop for some donuts or something?
Yeah, let's call it Let's Get Moving. That should be the name of your main motivator.
Guy sounds insufferable. Just cold clocks him. Shut the fuck up, Ted.
I know that many of you don't agree with my decision to return to this cave. That's clear from the messages I've been receiving. I'm afraid I don't have a choice. If I ever want to have another good night's sleep or walk the halls of my own home in peace, I must return. I no longer feel that I have a choice. I must return.
Oh my fucking God! Get in the fucking cave!
Exactly.
For my family and friends
Yes.
who are reading this, I say, be at peace. I will conquer this cave. Then I will return and update this website right away. I will include any photos we take in the cave today, and if you stop by the house, I will show you the videos I retrieved. I expect to be home later tonight, or tomorrow at the latest. See all of you soon with lots of answers. Love,
Last time
Ted.
they wrote on this place.
Ted was never heard from again. So, are you scared?
Nope, I'm aggravated, annoyed, and
That's not
pissed
the
off.
That's it?
Right?
I
No,
get the
I'm not
feeling
scared.
that
I'm
viewers are
angry.
going to be livid that we don't have any cave time in this story. So I challenge the commenters to chime in below with
The rest
one
of the
final
story.
blog post from Ted about
agree.
what happened in that cave.
Yeah, send in your cave stories,
Yeah.
your Ted cave stories, and might I encourage a very vicious and graphic
Yeah,
death.
just
Yes, please,
really
please.
fillet the guy.
That was actually written by
Splintering the bones and using
an
them as
anonymous
toothpick.
person. And it was actually on a blog called angelfire.com. We'll include the link in the description. I'm going to assume that that is not a real man. I do love the idea that he just never went back to the cave and couldn't live with the embarrassment, so he just stopped blogging.
Could be. He was really, he was really hyping himself up.
I'm going to do it.
I swear to God, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to that cave.
I'm
You
gonna-
guys are going to
I'm
be
doing
so proud of me.
Hold
I
my
guess we'll see you
beer.
next time on Are You Scared? Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Huh?
There's
Bye.
usually a cave behind a waterfall.
Oh.
Oh man, I enjoyed it all the way up until the end. I thought we was going to get something gruesome, but what was with the cave? That's going to aggravate me until I figure it out, and I'll never figure it out. So it's just going to aggravate me for the rest of my life. Fuck. I really enjoyed today's video, though. If y'all enjoyed today's video as much as I did, please go down there, leave a thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow. While you're down there, if you want, go on over and slap that subscribe button, become part of the Bill 1000 Nation. We do some crazy stuff here. If you want to know when that crazy stuff happens, ding that bell. It might work for you. It might not. It probably won't. But if it do, jump in on one of my premieres, get over in the live chat and be like, hey, Bill, you know, I was having a nice, relaxing, peaceful day. I had my toes dipping in the water, and then your little ass just dinged me out of nowhere. And then these birds thought it was like an attack on them, and then they started dive bombing me. I'm gonna be like, oh shit. Leave a like and dip. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Damn. That's just weird.